but didn't come into the to the meet. So I
Yeah.
think that was the only thing.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what happened yesterday, but I guess that was perfect because then we had the opportunity to speak, like all of us. And if we are like 11 on the room, will be quite harder. So I need to figure out how we will make that this works. But for me, it was so special that you start to listen other points of view, and other accents, and other ways to pronounce, and especially for the girls that are starting in this world. I guess that will be so useful. Listen the experience in other countries and from other lawyers. So the activity that I designed for today is, first of all, that you tell me what is your opinion about the video, because it's, as you saw, it's like a professor from an university, a really famous university in the area in UK, and he explained like so fast how it's important and why the people should study these kinds of courses in that university. I want to know if you understand like completely what he said, but also what is your opinion and how do you see this commercial and AP law? And after that, I will start to do other questions as always.
Okay, teacher. Well, for me, it was really interesting because I didn't know. Well, I suppose that there is a lot of courses or kind of that for all the sides of the law.
Mhm.
Uh, but it was really interesting because he was talking about how is important the IP. So
Mhm.
how can some lawyers could live with this all their lives because it's really specific. So they explain how this works in a commercial way when we have to make kind of money about this because
Mhm.
this is the problem that he is watching all the time when
Mhm.
someone is using the idea from another one and he's using well he's earning money with this idea that is not of their
Yeah.
property. So in that way I think it's really interesting because it is not just like a pattern. For example, they say that, well, he says that it's really important to make kind of preparation to understand how it works or how earning money with this, because this is not just make the register. I don't know how to say this.
Like register? Yeah, sure.
Register the idea in general. The idea also is to make a kind of how could I explain that um, that make money with this idea. So
Mhm.
that is really important in how to work with this when other people are working. So he say also that most people sometimes talk about a scientific idea that works in a different way, but if we are talking about an idea we are going to have money with this, make a business with this. Well, this is the best course. He said that. Well, I
And
think
yes, like about all the people that are kind of investors or works in this area, they can design a best plan or strategy for get money for the business or how this world works, right?
exactly. So,
And how do you see this field of law in your country? Like, do you think that is advanced or not so much?
well, I heard. I don't know when, but it was
Yeah.
a really important professor to me. He
Mhm.
was really prepared and really intelligent, and he said, "Well, Bolivia is really behind of lots of countries because most of countries make these patterns, the register of patterns. I don't remember the numbers, but could be a relation like, for example, United States make 200 parents per year, and Bolivia makes just 20, just like this. It was,
Okay.
or just like 10 per year. The difference, it was really big, and he started to give us all the numbers of
Information.
exactly. So this was really, really amazing for me because there are countries like Russia, like United States, United Kingdom, and countries that are really advanced, especially in technology, that make a lot of patterns. Is really, really amazing. And how Bolivia is not working in that because, first of all, there is no a lot of inversion in this. Well, most of people don't have inversion, especially with, an inversion is
Investors. Or you are talking about the money, or you are talking about who do it?
no inversion money
Ah, okay, perfect. Yes, so it's perfect.
from the government, especially. So they
Mhm.
have to looking for their own money
Resources.
resources exactly. They have to work their own resources, and if we don't find them, we stay and stand and something that idea. The idea is fighting for another one in another country, and it's too late. I think we are not working really good with this kind of register because well, first of all, the cipher, the numbers are not good in all the way, and after that, there is no. How can I explain this? There are not so many cases here, so
Okay.
we can learn a lot of this because we can see this every day. So in that way, I think we have to work in this, especially working from the beginning, where is helping other people, especially from government.
Okay. What other part from the video do you find interesting? Or what part you catch it and you say, okay, that is important, or maybe not? Or what is your opinion about this video? Because you know that is like a commercial, right? They are trying to sell you something. Do you think that is enough for, in our cases, like try to get one of these courses, or do you think that you need like more information? We would imagine that we are interested in this field of law because I know that we don't, or I don't, for example. But for me, it sounds really interesting how I will share my opinion, how he talks about the relationship that he had with other countries, like daily. Like because of my business, I need to talk with people from other parts of the world, and for me, that sounds really interesting because I really like it. I really like that multicultural interactions. But maybe you check and you find in the video other things really interesting and you want to listen it.
Well, for me, the first impression that I have is, well, the teacher or the person who is talking, he looks really prepared. So that gives me
Mhm.
a lot of, I don't know, I am sure to take the course because I think I'm going to learn a lot just watching the man who is talking. In that way, I think this is the first important thing because, well, the
Impression.
object is telling something. Well, for this, this is a really good information. The second one is that is it became from a university. So in that way, I think it gave me security also. And after that, well, in the way that the man is talking, I think he's really sure about what is he saying. So in this case, I trust him. So he makes me trust. So I think I could buy the course, but even though I think it is not at all enough because if we want to because he said that if you take the course you're going to you can believe with this just working with ip. So in this case I think it is not just as extremely as he said it because if you want to be really prepared for something especially for well, an aspect that is really specific, you have to still studying, and law is all the time changing. So in that way, you have to still learning all the time, and if it's necessary to have or to take other courses to complement the information, I think. But in any case, I think the course could be really complete. It looks like that.
Okay. And let me know if you had the opportunity to read the article that I already sent.
I didn't watch the article. I just watched the video. I'm going to.
Okay, no, the article is really short, so no worries, but I want that you check it when you have time because
Okay.
it's really important. They explain like some aspects about how these copyrights works for artists and how works for people that work with graphic design or with architecture or with other fields of life and how we should to understand the all the skills for develop this area, but from the point of view of an artist. So I really find it interesting. It's not long. It's really short. It's one page, I guess.
Oh, I'm
So
going to
they
watch
talk
it.
about something that we didn't talk about yesterday. That is basically the moral rights and how this works. Like what includes in this knowledge. How let me see how you can like push them together for understand how this works, right? So this is really important that you have time, maybe when we finish our call, that you read it a little bit. It's a really important conclusion. And my last question is, do you think that was clear enough, all the information that I gave yesterday? Because I know that it's quite um, hard, it's like heavy, it's dense, this topic, especially because we didn't have, in my case, a specialized course in this field. We took it in a class of commercial law, and they explained us, yeah, this is a patent, this is a license, blah, 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 blah. Was really fast. And I want to see if I should um, do like a deeper explanation and take a little bit of the lesson of tomorrow for continue going in, or do you think that is clearly enough?
Well, in my case, could be a little bit complicated because I worked with well, commercial law a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me,
Yeah.
it was to know what was the meaning in English because I already watched it. But I think it's really important to know all the parts of the law. Well, sometimes could be a little bit hard because economy it's not easy to understand at first time. It's
Yeah.
necessary to understand well, to have a little bit preparation before, because it is not just like, say, for example, if country needs money, why the government don't print more money? Well,
Yeah.
it is not just like that. It well, it's necessary to understand some things a little bit more inside the
Specific.
economy and specifically. So I think it is
Yeah, I know.
not easy to do in this course because first of all we are talking in English, and when we are talking in another language, when we are speaking in another language, well, most of the time we are focused on understand the language. I think this is in my case, isn't it?
Yeah.
To understand why is the teacher saying, trying to understand the context, not at all well the topic in this case, because well, for me it was easier the economic part or the commercial part. But I think it's
Yeah.
okay. It was really basic, and after all, it was easy to understand because I have lots of professors or teachers in university that make everything really complicated, and I had to read lots of books to try to understand what is was saying. So I think it was really clear, and it was really clear all and
Mhm.
easy to understand. I think that was really fine for me. It was really fine for me.
Okay, perfect. I really appreciate that because it's part of my methodology.
Yes, it's
I
was
I
really
like
good.
that. I try that all of you understand easily and try to do it not complicated at all because these cases the best way to learn it is if you can find some interest on it. So I am thinking to take a patent and explain it like on lesson. I'm trying to figure out what easy for do it easier for this couple of girls that are starting, but I want to listen to your point of view. I really appreciate. Thank you so much for your time. You are free now. Enjoy of your weekend. I am like thinking that we have lesson tomorrow, but no, we have just 3 days.
Yes, don't worry, teacher.
And before you go, I please will ask you that you feel the survey now is on.
Okay.
And thank you so much for your time. Enjoy. Have a nice weekend. And I
Thank you,
will see you.
teacher. Goodbye.
Bye
Goodbye.
bye. Thanks. See you. Laliska, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me know if you have the opportunity to saw the video or to read the article or both. And what is your opinion or your first impression about it?
I read both. Well, I saw and read the article, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, it might be a little confusing if you don't know the basis of what IP is, but personally, I already took courses about it. Like on university, it's like a requirement to take such things, and even if it's not like super complicated, when you go into the details of it starts getting confusing. Like the lines between what is one and the other one get a little bit blurry.
Sorry,
But
yeah, I know.
yeah, but the core of it, the protection that the IP is looking for in all its branches, it's amazing. I really like it. I think it's really good. There was like every time I think about IP, I think about medicine. I think about those kinds of things, especially now with COVID things and all the the debate around the vaccine, if they should share it for everybody, blah blah blah. All that kind of like things can be rooted to IP as well, and how IP is really important.
Do you think that if they are trying to selling you this course that you saw the offer because it comes or belongs from a university, do you think that is enough for call your attention, or do you think that needs like more information about the course? Because this is like a portrait, right? Like a first fast view about it, and he speak a little bit like this. What part do you think that is important for realize that you want to become like him, or for realize that you really want to do a little in this university? What do you think about it?
I think the advertisement was had some like key points in it. I think, and the
Mm-hmm.
first thing that comes to my mind is practical. They focus so
Yeah.
much that they're practical, that they want you to focus on practice things. They also focus on the fact that it's open to international things. Like you're gonna not see only one thing, but you're gonna expand your view, interacting with people from other countries, seeing matters of other countries and things like that, which if combined are a great product itself, because you want to learn something that you will be able to use in real life. You don't only want to know what is copyright, you want to know what, well, this specific thing is different from this because of this. You don't want to be told this is copyright and this is trademark. You want to know the difference so that you can yourself, when you see it in a case, know which one is which and what protection this one has that the other one doesn't. So I think in that sense, it sells itself very well. And seeing it from an international point of view, it's something that maybe in the past wasn't highlighted, but now it is very important because now like everything can be taken. Like you can have a product on Bolivia, but you can also sell it in China. You can also sell that product in
Yeah.
China, and you need that protection in China, or else a Chinese company is going to take your product and sell it as their own. So seeing it from an international point of view is appealing. I think a criticize I can make to them is that maybe the language wasn't it. They needed to be a little bit more dynamic. to cut your attention, because if like it was kind of like not boring, but only if you're really interested in it you will sit through all the things that they said. They need to focus on these 2 points that I say, focus on it in more clear language and direct language so they can sell that course, sell that university. I will take the course. I think I will take it. I will take it because I'm interested in it. And in that specific university, the way it's been advertised, maybe I will be inclined to look for other options because the video itself doesn't outstand.
Call your attention. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And it calls
it
your
doesn't.
attention like with
It
all
doesn't. I
the
don't think it's.
matters.
It might be not only like how the video itself is structured, but also the personality of the person talking.
Yeah.
That's something. I guess that's not a lawyer thing. It's more like a communications point of view. But yeah, I think the course, what it offers, it's good. It's just a matter of getting better at selling themselves, like selling their product.
Okay. Valeska, please let me know about the experience or the knowledge that you already have about this field of law in your country. It's the airplane. I am close to the airport.
It's
So let me know what is your opinion? No, what is your opinion? No. Like, what is the knowledge, like the general knowledge that you know, like how advanced is this field of law in your country? If maybe you know about
I
it.
I think like from the courses I've seen, and my teacher was like somehow kind of practical about it. I think it's getting there. It's not as good as other countries. Like I think Brazil is good, and another country I can think of. I think Colombia is also good at it, at IP. I think
Mm-hmm.
it is. I think it is because he always sent us to read some, from authors, Colombian authors. So I think that's also good. But Peru itself, it's on its way there. I think there's some aspects that people, I think it's more cultured. From a culture point of view, IP is already something that they can't figure because IP is something that is not tangible. There are some ideas that are not tangible in objects. There is that kind of that branch of IP is already something that people are kind of not afraid, but not there yet. They're not like so open to discuss about it, to discuss what is protection of something that can be like you can protect something that is physic, that is object. You can be like you can sell these because once you have it, no one else has it. Like you have this car, it's your car. But when they talk about like trademarks or copyright, they're like, oh, but I can have it, and that person can have it too. What do I do? How is this protected? Should this be protected or not? Some people are like, why is like they don't see the big deal in, for example, buying CDs that are not from directly from the company of an artist. They don't see the problem in it.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
don't
yeah.
see the problem in watching movies online in piracy pages. They don't see the problem in those things. So I think it's a matter of that thing, but it's on its way there. It's working on it slightly, but I think it's gonna pay off.
Okay. And let me know your opinion about the point of view of these matters, but from the point of view of the artists. Because you told me that if you read the article, it's really short, but I guess that is quite interesting in the way that you can see how they explain it for an artist. Like, hey, do you need this for this and this? And maybe if you read the part about moral rights and yeah, what is your opinion? What do you think that is good, or maybe you can improve from this field of law, but for artists? If you maybe be the lawyer,
I,
what do you tell them?
I mean, I already saw moral rights as a little bit, just a little touch of moral rights on my regular courses, but I
Mhm.
think they are good in their extent because I feel like if I were an artist and I draw a certain character, for example, for a kids show, and then
Mhm.
someone comes and buys it and wants to do a porn movie with it. I will totally be against that because my character wasn't like, I didn't draw that character for that thing. I didn't do that. And it might be not also resonated with like related to morals, but also with like morals itself, but the meaning behind it, the intention the person had with it. That's why it's so personal, because I know the motives behind what I created. I know what intentions I had when I created. That's my own thing. I can't transfer my moral rights to another person because the other person can have other morals. So I understand moral rights, and I think it's something that you can do out of respect for the artist, being like, you're okay with this, you are okay with this, and then the person can be like, yeah, I'm okay with it, not only from a money point of view, but also in a sense that, well, maybe my like the people I draw this cartoon for are already male or female that are grown-ups, and I want to give them another perspective of the character. Maybe that's me. Maybe I am so artsy, but not all people are like that, and some might not be like open to it. And I think it's, you can see it as disrespectful if you just don't care at all of what the intention was or what the views of the person that created was, and you just pervert their idea, or you. So that's the kind of like the take I have for moral rights. I think it's something that you do out of respect for the artist, for the one that you that created that thing that you are gonna take or that you want to license or whatever.
And do you read the part or do you check the part? I want to listen your opinion from. They say that if you have a lawyer, they will have, or yes, the company, whatever, they will have like the moral rights because you are working for them. How do you see this? Do you think that is fair?
I think that if we set ourselves in the world of fairness, it might not be, because it's not the company that created it itself, because the company itself can create anything. It's a company. It doesn't have an imagination, it doesn't have creativity. I can create anything. But the thing is that you can have like arguments for both sides, because as an artist you can be like, I created it, yeah, I was under contract, yeah, but I created it, it was my imagination, my mind created it, it's mine. Some even call their children, like when they create something, they a painting, a cartoon, they always say it's my children, because that's how they see it, because it was born out of them. But from a company point of view, you created this thing while working for me, while receiving payment from me, while using my instruments, while using the equipment I gave to you. Otherwise you wouldn't have, like, if it wasn't for me, if it wasn't for what I gave to you wouldn't have the time to even think about this idea. You wouldn't have the resources to make this idea come through. So it was also me, the one that put it into it. So I think you can battle it somehow. I think it's more of like artists should check their contracts very well and be like, I'm not willing to give up this thing before, not after. If you think about it after, it's kind of like you use their resources and now you want to get away with it. Yeah, you use their resources and they're kind of like, maybe a better would be like 50-50, or maybe some kind of percentage, like maybe 30-70, but not like 100-100 if it wasn't discussed before the sign of a contract. If during like the signing of the contract the artist was like, oh, I don't agree with this, I want to negotiate this because I don't feel like I'm gonna give up my rights of it, and maybe the company doesn't want it, it's like, you either sign this or you don't work with us, then you have to make a choice, like, no, I respect more my creative freedom, I want the rights over my things, so I don't sign with you. But if you already signed knowing that you were giving away your rights over this thing, and I think that maybe you can negotiate to have like a percentage, like 70-30 kind of things like that, because it's also not fair for the company to invest in you, mainly in you, to create this idea, so that they, at the end of the day, they're like, they get nothing. As a company point of view, that's not that doesn't create money. If I invest money and then receive none because you suddenly left the company with your idea, and maybe you go to another company that pays you more, but the other company hasn't invested anything on you. I invest like maybe
Okay.
$10,000, but and then you create this amazing cartoon idea, and then in a week you leave the company and go to my competitor because they offer you 50 grand for the entire thing. So
Mhm.
I'm already on lose, and then I'm
Yeah.
gonna lose more because the other ones are gonna get a better idea. So yeah.
Okay. I am so glad to listen your point of view as always. I think that you already know that you always have 10 in all this course. So thank you so much for sharing. And I will see you the next week. And before you leave, please fill the survey that now is on. And yeah, I will see you next week. Thank you so much for
Okay.
your intervention. And see you. See you soon. Enjoy your weekend.
Bye.
Bye. Anna, hello. Are you here? I saw you in a second. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, how are you? I cannot listen to you.
Y ahora sí.
Yeah, perfect. Hello, how are you?
Good, and you, Gali?
Everything is going good. Thank you so much for asking. I love your office. It's quite a lot of documents there. It's like for so long I haven't seen this. It's like work.
Like, we're overloaded.
Yeah, because for me, what is like more they send me all the information like online. I didn't have contact with a process for years. Because now I said like, oh my God, you have a lot of things to do.
Yes. That's really hard because we are getting a lot of stuff because when we notificate the parts, the first one has to be personal. So we have to give them the physical part of the process and all that stuff and the proofs and all that
Mhm.
the files, and so we are overloaded with that because of COVID, everything is just
Yeah.
waiting.
Yes, I know. I can imagine.
It's
Okay. So the first thing that I want to know if maybe do you have time to read the article and so the video, or maybe
Yes.
just a part? I
Both
try
of
to do it like short. Okay. So I want to know what was your first impression about the video? What are the opinion that you can get from it? And after that, I will continue doing questions.
Okay. Well, I love the idea that they are making it in like in two ways. We're having the business part and we're having the legal part. I think that makes that the lawyer or the student has all the profiles of the situation, so you can handle it better and you can analyze the things that happen in a very open range. So I like that. And I like that they also have these kind of studies that can help you to see the things in an intellectual but more in but also in a commercial way. So you can provide your client with both options. Sorry.
Mhm.
Let me see. And I like that they are like going in the line to make intellectual property law with the base of protection, because sometimes there are universities or maybe in the real world of in the job, you see it like a commercial use, just that no in the way of protection or the intellectual things, or maybe the person who made it. Sorry, I used present. And I think that's really important because it's like super wide options and you can see everything that happens really in intellectual property law. And I love that.
Okay. Do you think that was clear enough to understand the different fields and the different matters that belongs like in a really basic and general way? Was that clear? Do you think that was like between the lesson that we had yesterday, the video and the article, do you think that is clear? Because I am thinking to analyze one patent, like on lesson, right? Do you think that is necessary or do you think that is enough with the information that we already have?
Maybe we can practice. Well, for me, it's always really important to practice everything so we can reassure that we have a good base and we're ready for it.
Mhm.
And I think we have a lot of information, so I like that too.
Okay,
Like,
interesting. I know that this video belongs to an university that want to try to sell a course, right?
yes.
So I want to know if do you think that is enough information for makes you feel secure about invest your money in that course? What was the part that maybe tells you like, oh my God, it's really interesting, I want to invest it? Or what was the part that I saw like incomplete? What is your opinion? Do you think
Okay.
they're like living in London, you will pay for that?
Maybe, but I think that the explanation is really general. And after I read what you sent to us, I think that they maybe have to be like a little bit specific because they go on the business and legal aspects, like I told you before, but like they have to realize that some people doesn't have, sorry, didn't have all the studies on all the bases, so they have to be like, okay, we're gonna learn about the business and the legal aspects, but we're gonna know about the basis of intellectual property law and all the stuff, and maybe that's a yes for me. I think that it's kind of how to say flojo,
Lazy,
like kind of
quite
lazy in that
lazy.
part.
You can say
Yes,
that.
because when the video started, it's like they are selling you like the most amazing course on intellectual property law, but after that, like it's like he says, well, we have the best one in master's degree and we have the best post no sé qué and all that stuff. So it's like, it's okay, you're selling me that, but what else is in there? Sell that to
Yes.
me. And that was it's missing for me, but it's okay.
Okay. For me, the most important part was to realize that you are working and dealing in these kind of things, especially with entrepreneurs, then you are talking with business people and some investors and also lawyers, right? And how, if you start to work in this field of law, you will have connections and you will have investors and people interested in that belongs and that becomes or comes from different parts of the world. And for me, it sounds really interesting because if someone that have the experience are talking about it, right? And how maybe you can open your mind in this aspect. Because
Yeah.
I never realized how important this can be because at my university, they didn't take the time for explain to me a huge course about it. It was just a matter inside of commercial law. That's it. Oh, yeah, this. But maybe I didn't have the opportunity to dimension it and how maybe I can create something huge and something huge from that. And the possibilities exist. So that was my idea. Moving from that, I want to know what was your opinion or what a matter do you realize or you can see important from the article?
I love how they describe everything that compounds intellectual property. Like, I mean, we have that from artists, and we can see it in graphic works, sculptures, or collage. The design rights that they are really specific from every matter, and how they are real. The details. Well, for me, it's the details. So, like they explain that the visual work on a surface, and maybe we can make it intellectual property, or the things that are made by hand, not mass produced, also have it. Like they send a lot of information that is really useful, and the perspective for me is kind of for learning purposes. Yes, learning purposes, and I love that. And I even I always have my notes with me, but for me that was the stuff. Like, I mean, we have the copyright, we have the design rights, and we have all this stuff that can be considered intellectual property, and this is the range that they have and all that stuff. And I really like that. I don't know
Okay.
if you want me to be more specific or something like that.
No, that is important. That lets me like allows me to create a conversation. Do you read the part that where you are working for a company, etc.? Your employer will have the moral rights about it. What
Yeah.
is your opinion?
I
You
think
think
it's kind
that
of
is right?
I think it's kind of tricky. For me, it's kind of tricky.
Why?
Because maybe that's something that you work on, that is your time, that is your idea, and just because you are under a name of a brand or you are employed by someone, that's not yours. So it's like that's that's that thing that you create is like has that 70% of the details that they're talking in the article. So for me, it's like maybe they have to be like half and half, or maybe there I don't know. We need something that protects that kind of projects, so that the how you say the employer, no, the employee, sorry, has the opportunity to have a name on the project and some kind of reconocimiento. Sorry, I forgot the word.
Yeah, the goodwill. You can say like that. You can have like the authority, right, or the credits for something that I create, right? The credits for write the book or to make that paint or for create I don't know. This works like a lot of for cartoons.
Yes.
When I imagine that you are the owner of Pixar, you are give them credits, but the final product is from your company.
Name by picture, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for me, it sounds like really interesting. It's not my field, but when I read it, it's like, oh, like this works the novels and all the stuff.
Yes,
And all this
I
market
really,
that is new for me.
yes, and I really thought of the writers a lot. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know what that, I mean, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Isabel Allende, all that people that they sell by their name,
Yeah,
but
sure.
all the rights and all that stuff, they really have to fight a lot to keep them by their authority. I don't know,
Yes, by
because
them.
the editoriales, they are
Yes,
like,
the
they are huge. I don't know.
editorial world.
Yes, yes, it's
Yeah.
like a trouble because they want to keep like the 90% of the critics of the book, and it's like, nope, that's not true. That's not how it works. So I really thought in that way. Um, I really thought, I really thought in the movies too, like the writers, like maybe they write, but the prices and all that stuff is going to la productora and all
The producers.
the
Producers.
producers, the
Mhm.
directors, and all that stuff. And it's like, it was his idea, it was her idea. So it's like, how is it working? How they get acknowledgement for that? It's like really
Okay.
curious.
Thank you so much for your time, for your opinion, and I will see you the next week. I know that you feel the survey, so thank you. And enjoy your weekend. Rest of all that work that you get behind you.
Thank you so much. I'm going home right now.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Silvana, hello. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Hi.
Thank you. Perfect. So I want to know your opinion from the video and from the article, and what was like your first impression about it? What caught your attention in both of them?
Okay. First, the video. I never heard about Queen Mary actually University, to be honest. And then when I started listening this sir, I thought immediately, oh, okay, this is a testimony because in some point he said, okay, I was a student here and now I teach here, or I did something I understand about the courses that they have in IP law. I was very interested in how they divide their courses between like a theory and then a practical way how the procedures works or
Mhm.
operates in the UK. But also I was very curious about what he said about the LLM
Mhm.
course. I don't remember the
Yes,
the name,
yes, yes, it'll
but
first,
they
yeah.
said that they work with people that is already a lawyer, and I was very impressed because I had a course of IP and I'm
Mhm.
undergraduate yet, so it was okay, maybe in the UK they don't have these kind of courses in the
Okay.
university, but it's also important to know about IP law. I consider it's important even for commercial, even if you're not a lawyer. As he said, you can be a lawyer, you can represent a company, or you can be interested in do a stronger business. I mean, your business is stronger for have this register your brand or whatever you're doing. Then for the article, it was short. It was incredible. Yeah, and it was easy to understand how an artist can protect their work, their ideas, their creativity, well, the new ideas, how they're innovating everything every time, and how the design rights works. Because as we, I immediately think about knockoff products that they have some tiny changes in stuffs like t-shirts, or like in the patterns in some some brands. I thought in, for example, these Gucci things that they have, or
Mhm.
Louis Vuitton, then always is LV. So you try to do something similar, but hey, it's registered. You're doing something illegal. So yeah, people don't understand that if they don't know at least something about pillow. So I think it's better to know than be like desperate looking for a lawyer and being a procedure.
Okay. And do you know about how this field works in your country? How is everything going? Do you think that is advanced, or maybe are getting troubles, all these topics about IP?
I don't think we're on the top of our capacity. Maybe we have an institution here called Indecopy that has a lot to do about talking about trademarks or maybe competence and regulation stuff. So they have a lot of things to do. Actually, when I saw the course, they talk about more about brands or well trademarks in general. So as undergraduate student, we know how the procedure is, but we don't know actually how in practice is, because this time that they say okay, 10 days for this, 10 days for that, but sometimes it's not that's not that's not true. We have to wait and we have to be there and we have to be checking if someone has some similar brand. We have to protect our goodwill or our reputation, because if something is similar, the market can be confused and we can be affected for that. So I believe that we have a long road to
Okay.
yeah, but I think now with the you said the name yesterday, Indian, oh, the can Indian
Andean
Commission, the
community,
Indian
like the
community, yes,
Andean Court of Community
yeah,
Nation.
yeah. We have a really good base in that treaty. Yeah,
Okay,
well, that decision,
perfect.
policy.
Yes, I am trying to figure out. I want that you tell me if you are agree with, or maybe you can give me other idea. I want to try to find one easy patent, like from a country, maybe not UK, maybe the other one,
Mhm.
perhaps like more points of view, and maybe that we can study it on the lesson, right?
Okay.
But do you think there was enough, the information that we already see, that we saw yesterday? Do you think that it was clear, or maybe no? Because as the way that I see it is not my field, so I am trying to describe it easily because it's my methodology. But maybe that you study these courses, maybe you can tell me, oh, Gali, I think that we can maybe talk about this that belongs to us. Maybe you can give me some ideas.
Well, I consider it was okay. Like I remember, I was like remembering everything that I already know about pillow, and it was interesting to know how the term is in English for sure.
Yeah.
Then I was thinking the artist actually, and then you send the article, so I remember a lot of a lot of the time when I was reading for the course that I had about moral rights, and
Yeah.
so it was more interesting for me to know that every author are gonna have this opportunity to keep that right for themselves, even if when the articles say you can be asked to waive it. I mean, I don't think that's the way actually.
Yeah.
It's something that you're gonna keep all the time, or you've been recognized for that book or for that paint, or
Yeah.
whatever.
When it's individual, because when you belongs to a group or when you belongs to a really huge company, as you know that I speak with your classmate, is of course that when you see one movie, you see all the credits and you know who works on it, but they
Yeah.
get a salary for their work. But I guess that all these moral rights are not really fulfilled. because they are like part of the machine, right? So for me, it sounds like quite cruel, but it's the reality in
Yeah.
some cases, not in all cases, but just in some that happens.
Yeah, actually, the last semester we were talking about softwares. So in the another course, we talk about that how companies own that rights. I mean, registered this invention for themselves, not for the employee. And it was interesting because in our national law we have a law that says explicitly that if you don't negotiate this, it's for the company, and maybe the employees didn't, well, most of the time doesn't have the opportunity to know if that this article in our law exists. So
And that
maybe,
the most of the times are like unilateral contracts. You cannot, you
sure.
are trying to find the job and they say, oh no, I want, come on. You cannot pay for that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it will be interesting if I mean, they're gonna give you everything to work for sure, but it's actually your idea. I think that's that we can work on it to improve that rights for the creators, the real creators. Yeah,
that is an important point. But do you think that in all this topic about patents, how is Peru with that? Do you think that is like what is the in the range, or making a fast comparison about it? Do you think that Peru is okay, or maybe not so much?
not too much. I to be honest, not too much. It's getting better because when we have something, right now we have like 2 universities working with a Peruvian vaccine for the COVID, and the government is not helping, is not supporting that project. So maybe I don't know if they don't want it to, or they want the pattern like it's free, or I don't know, but I think we have a lot to do here in that field.
Okay. And yeah, finally, do you think that maybe we should like take one economic basis for talk about this? Because I don't know if you saw in one part of the video, they talk about how these entrepreneurs go to these kind of courses for understand how the market works. But do you think that maybe we should find some article about economics, or do you think that information is clear until now?
For me, information is clear, to be honest.
Okay. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And what about the patent? Do you think that we should study a patent?
About a patent, as you said, it's most of the time like softwares, and then the pharmaceutical market, so or industry. So for me, it's very clear to know how it works.
Perfect. And because you took courses in this.
Yeah, actually, the teacher we had there sent us a lot to read, so I think we have a good base in that.
Yeah, and also an advantage.
Yeah.
Okay, Silvana, so until now we are done. I will see you the next week, and I will try to find like the balance and how to do it, because you know that is not my field, and I didn't feel like comfortable talking about something that I didn't have the experience on it, like in other fields of law. But we cannot have experience in everything, because like a lot of fields, and then you're not really on it with all. So I prefer be focused. Thank you so much. And yeah, I guess that you feel the survey already, right?
Already did it, yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much, and I will see you next week.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
bye.
Thanks to you. Bye-bye. Rafael, hello, how are you?
Oh, teacher, I'm fine.
What happened yesterday? Give me a second. I will turn on the light. Wait. Now I am here. What happened yesterday?
Yeah, I have emergency meeting for the ONG. No, ONG. I don't know
Yeah, yeah,
how
yeah. Yes,
ONG
ONG.
work
No,
it. Sí, yes.
okay. And what happened?
So I I had to be in this room in this meeting.
Okay,
I
I can
could
understand. Okay, I can understand. Do you have the opportunity to saw the video about the topic that we had yesterday?
yeah, I saw the video.
Okay, perfect. And do you think that was clear the information about like IP law?
Yes, I think I
Okay.
was thinking that in the way that this guy talk about mm, her job, it sounds very difficult to.
No, Rafael. No, no, no. The video about the lesson. No, not the video that was the activity for today. No, no, no. The class of yesterday.
I didn't have time, teacher.
Okay. So I will please ask you that you see it because I talk about patents and copyright
Yes,
and all this information.
in
That
the
will be
week.
like more specific. Yes, sure. But this video about this professor in London
Yeah.
explain like so fast what the topics will be in that course that they are trying to sell, right? Tell me now that we know about which video we are talking about. Tell
Yeah.
me now what is your opinion about that video?
Yeah. I think it sounds like the study of these copyright and other patents are sounds very difficult when he talk about it. Uh, it's like if you need a lot of studies to be a good lawyer in these cases.
Yeah, but do you think that was interesting, this kind of course? If you
Yeah.
maybe live in London, do you think that you take one of these? And what
Yeah.
other part sounds interesting for you? What was your first impression?
I think it's very interesting. The first thing I remember when I was seeing that video was uh, another video that I saw about Kanye West and the problem that he had with his managers and recording house because they didn't have the mixing rights. They didn't have the copyright about the mixings of their own songs.
Mhm.
And I was seeing that case and other similar case. And when we talk this topic, I relationate the bot.
Okay, perfect. And do you have time to read the article?
Yeah,
What is your opinion about the article? Do you think that was clear enough? Maybe you are agree with the content,
very
or maybe you not?
very useful. I didn't think in. I didn't used to think in that difference between copyrights and design rights,
Mhm.
but now I know the difference. But it's not so clear. I think well, this is because it's a theme for a lot of pages in and not just for one text.
Yeah.
But it was clearly.
Okay, perfect. Basically, if I can like to make you a resume, about the lesson of yesterday that I'm so sure that you will see the video. We saw like the different parts that belongs to IP law, like intellectual property law. And they he explained it in that video, something that I speak yesterday and I talked yesterday, and is how this world, like this economic world and business world, is really connected with this area of commercial law. We can do like a lot of brackets of this topic, and one of them is the copyright, that is los derechos de autor, and that belongs like all the creative stuff that can be like writing, painting, sorry, that maybe some novels, whatever that you want to put that belongs to your brain in a creative form, it's copyright. Then we have other fields that belongs to that area, that is like the packaging, the design, the marketing, all the different structures that you need to create for the branding. And that part we would call it trademarks, que es como el derecho de marcas, ¿sí? De marcas comerciales, todo el tema del branding. And like all the design, all the goodwill, all the marketing, the publicity, everything that is like connected will belongs to trademarks. Then we have the patents. We use it when we need to register some industrial process for to create a new product, right? For example, the pharmaceutical staff use it a lot, and they are really selfish, and they put a really huge patents for a lot of hundreds of dollars, etc., a lot of money for protect that invention. Like every time that is something new, completely new, that will be a patent. And then when you sell that patent, we have like the last term, that is the license for create something like Coca-Cola, or maybe allows to your factory to create something that becomes or it comes from China.
Yeah.
That is so basic. I am having in mind that we will study a real patent, but the examples that I found until now are really huge, and I want to try to find something easy for do it at lesson. But that was the resume about yesterday. I found something quite controversial in this article, and is if you are working for a company as a designer, as a creator or content creator, etc.
You don't have
Yeah,
any
like
copyright, a designer right.
yeah, do you are agree with that or you are against?
I am against. I think you like a creator must to be at least some part of this design rights, because even if you are working for this company, you are the person that is in the idea or in the process to be copyrighted. Uh,
Like to have the credits about one.
you have some credit even if you
Yeah.
are working for them.
Okay. Do you think that the credits are enough? I will give you like an example. Any like all the movies that belongs to Pixar, you know, that they put all the credits by the end and put all the names, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Do you think that that kind of credits are enough for the work that are to doing?
I don't understand the question, teacher.
No, it's like you are agree or in disagree. You know that all these movies that belongs to Pixar or these movies,
Yeah.
series, etc., they have the credits at the end. Did you saw that they put like design work, Pepito, graphic design,
Yeah.
but do you think that that is enough? Like enough credits?
Mm, yes, I think I can't think in other way to give more credit in the movie. Even if we are in a age when we have a cult of personality of the in this case of movies, the director. It's like there is a movie of Tarantino, or Tarantino is a genius.
Yeah.
But we don't think a lot in all the other people that was working in that with, or when you are thinking in a band, I don't know, like David Bowie. For me, David Bowie is a genius, and when I listened some songs of him, I think Bowie is a genius. But there are uh, a guitar player,
Mhm.
drummer, a lot of people that are working. But I think they need more credit, but I don't know how it could be possible.
Okay.
When we are talking about these movies, I don't know which other what other thing we can do to give
Give
them
them.
more credit.
Yeah, I understand your point. But also, if you think like entrepreneur or maybe the owner of the company, you are paying them for their work. So if you are not paying them, they don't need to create nothing like that belongs to something huge, you know? So if you are working for me, that's the point, that point of view, if you are working for me and I am giving you the salary, then I need to have that money back selling that product. And of course that I will have the moral rights. That is one way to see it, but maybe you have other one.
Yeah, I think if you pay, you could, I don't know, you could take a great percent of the credit, but not all. Something like
Okay.
19% or 99%, but at least give the creator some credit, even if it little or symbolic credit.
Yeah, like all these moral rights
Yeah,
that belongs. Yeah, like
so
uh, yeah.
they don't lose the moral rights, I think.
Mhm. Perfect. And do you think that all this world is advanced in your country, like in Bolivia? Do you think that do you have like a lot of development in IP law in your country? What is your opinion?
My country. I don't know so much about this. I think we have a lot of problems when I know cases, for example, for musicians, and that are paying, even touching their own songs. That's because there are institutions like um, Sobot.com that say that they protect the copyrights of all the Bolivian artists. If you are playing a song composed for a Bolivian person, they I don't remember the word. They
Demandar?
uh, cobran.
And they will request, like they made an invoice or they request a
They
payment.
request you some money, even if
Okay.
you are the truly composer of this. I know some cases like that. Like if I compose the song, I have all the credits of the song, but these Soul Icon are
Taking advantage.
taking advantage.
Okay. Okay, Rafael, we finished. Thank you so much for your time. I believe that before you go, you feel the survey that now is open. And I will see you the next week. Thank you so much for your time. And please see the video
Yeah, I don't.
about the lesson.
Yeah.
Now it's on YouTube. Okay, and then I sent the presentation also to the group.
Yeah,
But maybe
I
we'll
read
make it
some.
easier. Yeah,
Yeah, I
maybe it
read
will
the
be easier.
presentation.
Depends on you.
Okay.
Okay, bye bye. Thank you so much.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
You too. Maria, hello. How are you?
I'm doing good. What about you?
I am good. Thank you so much for asking. Okay, so do you have time to see the video?
Yes.
Okay, let me know what are what was your first impression about it?
Well, first of all, I think they were talking about what was the name? Queen Mary.
Yeah.
There's a center where you can study these patents to be a patent attorney, and then divide into categories. The first one is an academic bracket, and the second one is people with experience. I think that's really good. Um, the other thing that I like that he said that when you are like a patent attorney, you study, yes, in one place, and maybe the law there it's for some specific rights there, and it's national law. But study to be a patent attorney, it's useful for all over the world too. It changed, yes, it changed, but it's a small change. It's not something like really big. It also depends on the country, but for example it's pretty similar. For example, um, if your country is part of the, what was the name, uh, Indian Community of Nations,
Yeah.
you have the same kind of law in these countries. So you just
Yeah.
need to look at the decisions, and you have a really good idea about what it is. So I think this thing that he said about to study to be a patent attorney, it helps you in a lot of countries, not just in yours. That's something that I really like.
Okay. What other parts do you find like interesting, or maybe that you can criticize from your maybe experience? Because I know that one of your classmates studied this like so deep, so the opinion is like really interesting even for me, because as you know, it's not my field. I work with criminal law. But let me know which part you think that maybe you can afford, support, or being against from that video. And also, I want to know a little bit about how is this field in your country. If maybe you know it, that you give me your perspective or your point of view.
Okay. Mm, for the video, I also heard about the if you have a science degree, it could be also really useful and helpful for this. And if you want to study to be a patent attorney, and yes, that's really true. Yes, we have a lot of kind of patents. The most common ones, I think, are related to science. And actually with the vaccines and that stuff, it's very common. So I can imagine an attorney who is also a scientist. I think that's a plus. And that's something really cool. That's something that I like a lot. And also from the article that you sent to us, I was reading about artistic work. It was about copyrights, but here it says graphic work, photographs, sculpture, or collage. And they also talk about register this artistic work. For example, in my country, and I think also in Colombia, because we are in this international community, it's not necessary for only for author rights that you register your artistic work. You
Like
can do it.
copyright.
Yes, you can do it, but it's not necessary because you are like the owner, or you have rights on it since the first time that you show this to the public. So that is where the right borns.
Yeah.
And if someone tries to copy it, or make some money, and you don't allow it, in that case, without a registration, you can sue
To
them.
them.
Yeah.
Okay. And what, like, for me, I will let you know my point of view, and then you tell me yours. You
Mhm.
saw that in that article they talk about if you are an employee and you will have trouble with some credits or moral rights that belongs to one, I don't know, novel or some creative work or whatever. What is your opinion about that? Do you all agree with that? Are you
First of
agree?
all, it's kind of confusing for me, because I've never understood at all what I mean with moral rights. They
Mhm.
about the patrimonial stuff. I understood that, but when they started speaking about moral rights, I didn't get the whole idea in my law class. So that's kind of
Yeah.
difficult for me. I supposed that, well, as they always said, you can give to another person your patrimonial rights, but you cannot do that with the moral rights. That's what I
Yeah.
knew. But
Yeah, it's like Shakira. You know that that song belongs to Shakira.
yes, something like you're related
That's
to the
it. It's
person,
like
right?
there in the clouds,
Uh-huh.
in
It's
the air.
pretty close what it's happening with Taylor Swift. I don't know if you are not no.
No?
I think she sold her songs to a company, and this company sold them to another one, or something like that. But what she's doing right now, obviously, if you hear a Taylor Swift song, the old ones, it's Taylor Swift. Is from her. Now, and I think this is the moral rights. You relate this song
Yeah.
to her,
Yeah.
but actually it's
Because
not
they are
hers.
the that you know what happened with artists and especially when they are so famous that they are their own brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
No.
it's difficult to understand how works the moral rights with these people that all the branding and all the marketing and all the design, everything are on them. That is quite hard. Um,
Yes.
but no, I didn't know about this topic of Taylor Swift.
Yeah, and now what she's doing right now is start recording another time her songs, but another tune. It's strange.
Okay.
So she could own that songs. For example, talking about moral rights, it reminds me another thing about Camilo. The other time I was watching a video, and I discovered that he wrote the song Sin Pijama. I don't like that song, but it was a surprise for me, that song. I think that was the one.
Which
It
one?
was a
Camilo,
really good song.
Camilo, which one?
Camilo,
The Eva Luna
Camilo
husband?
Eva Luna. Yeah, that one.
Camilo,
That one. Yeah, that.
ok. En
So,
pijama, ¿cuál? ¿Cuál canción?
yeah,
Espere, el chisme.
la,
La de
I don't, I,
Nos vamos
I
pa'
don't
tu
remember.
casa. ¿Esa?
That one, that one, that one, that one. I'm, I'm,
Sí.
I'm 75%. It was that song. I remember that it was a really big hit.
Ok.
But I was very surprised, because talking about moral rights, you should
Mhm.
think, oh, maybe you relate this to Camilo, because you cannot give your moral rights. But
Okay.
if I didn't tell you, you don't even know that he was the one who wrote this song. So
Yeah, but of course,
what are
we're
the
talking
moral rights?
that, yeah, that example is really useful. But of course, that we know that for that transaction, we have a lot of money, right? So, I didn't know it. But this artistic world is something that I feel that is quite apart from us. Because at the university they didn't let you like open your mind and your eyes that how maybe you can belongs to this artistic work, like from your profession. Other part that I found really interesting in that video was where they talk about their daily life and how um, he connect with clients all over the world. And that for me is like important that you can share that information, because investors world and all this commercial are so related with IP law, and maybe can
Yes, it
be a
is.
huge opportunity, right?
It is. And we have a lot of facilities. For example, as I said, because we are in the Indian community of nations.
Mhm.
So, for example, if I maybe I have studied the same class as you when you were in the law school, just in this case, or pretty close, have the national our national, but it's a it's a copy paste from the decision that we use in property rights.
Yeah,
Well, sorry, in intellectual property rights.
intellectual property law and rights. But
Property right.
yeah, but you know that all these um, bases or sources are quite different, maybe in the content, but or maybe in the structure of the law, but in the bottom, in the really objective content of these kind of dispositions, it's the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
We use other like skills or other tools for act in some cases, or the law names are different, etc. But in the bottom, we have the same because we are a society that works with almost the same rules. And in the case of with Chile, for example, our codes are so similar because we get inspired by them. And it's like a
Yeah.
copy and paste for a lot of experiences of other countries. And that is also important when you want to work in this commercial stuff, because when you're talking like worldwide businesses, you have like international rules to respect, and that's it. So that is also a good point for try if maybe one day you can like work in this field, would be useful, right?
Yes.
To listen by someone that is working on that and how they can give you a fast perspective in that video, right?
Yeah.
What other part? We have 1 minute more. What other part do you think that maybe we should study in this topic of IP law?
um, uh, 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 it's not about patents.
Mhm.
It's about, for example, you have a computer. Obviously, a computer is something that have already been invented before. It's not new. You can have a patent on that. But if you do a change on that computer, you would also have a right on it. I don't know how to say it in English. Even in Spanish, I forgot the word. But like it's something new, but in that design of that computer. For example, it's not it's a computer in a circle. I don't know, but something changed and made it better. So I think it's something that we could study.
Okay, okay. Like how when it's not completely new, it's just new some part of the huge product.
Yeah, it's about the design. So it's no author rights, but it's about the design of something that have already been invented.
Okay. I'm taking notes. Then I will forget it. Okay, thank you so much for your appreciation. We are done, so I will see you the next week. And before you leave, as always, I will please ask you that you fill the survey. I guess that you already did it.
Yes, I did it right now.
Okay. Thank you so much. And yeah, I will see you next week.
See
Enjoy
you.
your
Bye.
weekend. Bye bye.
Thank you. You too.
Daisy, how are you?
Hi,
How
I'm
is everything
fine.
going?
Good. Now good.
Okay, perfect. So we will start to talking about what is your opinion from the video that I sent to you, and what was your first impression about it? What do you think that you can analyze from that video?
Okay, I get it that it is a university that is specialized in law, but in law of um, intellectual property for defending the design rights and the copyrights for the artist. And there is two courses. The first one, LLP, I think, LLP.
No,
That
no, no,
is about
no, 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 no. LLM.
LLM.
Mhm.
There is a course of 3 months, and you can learn about how to defend or how to be a good lawyer in this area of copyrights and design rights. And the another course is, I don't remember I don't know how to say siglas in English, but I don't remember the letter CS. I don't remember, but it's a course of 1 year, and in this year, you will be a specialized in this area of intellectual property to defend and to be I forget the word that he say, treatment. I forget the word, but
Okay.
it is about that you will be a lawyer specialized to defend this part of this artist, and the course is of 1 year, and just that.
Okay. How do you feel with the information that I gave you yesterday? Do you think that is clear?
The class of
Yeah,
yesterday.
of yesterday,
I
yes.
Yeah, I saw the video in YouTube, but I don't see the presentation very well. I mean, I don't I didn't see the presentation, the document, but I see the video, and it was interesting. And Chris has said me there is an exam, and I was wondering when I can do this exam for not lose the exam. I don't know,
No
maybe
worries.
tomorrow, or I don't know.
No worries. No worries. It's just a test. You
Mhm.
don't will have like 0 or something. This is just like a practical. Yesterday we get like just 6. So I will find a way to make that all of you present a different exam.
Okay.
So no worries. No worries by notes. I am really interested in that you can learn the thing that you need to learn. But I know that Tricia and you have a different level, right? So I need to know if are you understanding everything, or do you want that I take some minutes right now to explain you and make it completely clear for you?
No, this topic of design rights and copyrights is very interesting for me because I know the copyrights, but not too much like in the article that you sent, and it was so interesting.
Okay. So if I told you what is the translation of copyright, what means copyright?
In Spanish,
Yeah,
derecho de autor.
perfecto. Y si yo te digo que es una patente, ¿qué me contestarías? ¿Qué es una patente?
It's como decir, yo hice esto y ponerle como mi nombre a lo que yo hice.
Ujú. ¿Y qué tipo de aplicación tiene esa patente? O sea, ¿en qué sectores? ¿Por qué yo tengo que patentar algo? ¿Porque qué quiero hacer? ¿Qué quiero vender?
Por ejemplo, lo puedo decir en español, ¿verdad?
Como tú quieras, como te sientas más cómoda, porque me
por
interesa que
ejemplo,
entiendas el contenido y ya, porque la traducción es fácil, pero me
ujú,
interesa, como es un tema que no has visto en la universidad, me interesa es que lo comprendas para que más adelante no termines con la cabeza ahí rayada y confundidísima. Entonces, ¿qué sería una patente?
Una patente, como ya dije, ¿verdad? Como ponerle mi nombre a un artículo o a algo que yo he creado. Por ejemplo, yo escribía poemas antes y una maestra siempre me decía, paténtelo, paténtelo, paténtelo. Entonces era como ir al centro de registro y llevar como lo que yo había escrito y decir, esto lo escribí yo y no lo copié de nadie más y quiero que le pongan mi nombre. Entonces es como que nadie más podía escribir lo que yo había puesto sin darme
Correcto.
como créditos
Bien.
o algo así,
Ahí hay
porque
una
yo ya
confusión.
había patentado.
Súper, hay una confusión porque a veces utilizamos términos que en derecho, y especialmente cuando estamos hablando de derecho en inglés, necesitamos tener súper diferenciado. Ese proceso que tú hablas del registro está dirigido hacia el copyright, hacia el de los derechos de autor de tus poemas, la autoría, los créditos que te van a dar. El tema de derecho de patentes se utiliza mucho para la creación de invenciones o de productos que les podemos dar un uso industrial. Por ejemplo, la producción en masa de un computador portátil, que yo puedo hacer un paso a paso de una creación industrial en la industria farmacéutica, en la industria de carros, de automóviles, de celulares. Es un proceso industrial que yo registro. Estoy patentando un producto porque es completamente nuevo. Y a partir de esa novedad es que yo voy a obtener mis ganancias. ¿Verdad? Eso sería una patente. Luego tenemos una licencia, que la licencia es como el resultado de la patente, el hijito. Cuando yo puedo utilizar esa patente, yo tengo licencia y esa licencia yo la compro. Y eso es lo que utilizan los abogados. Ahí tenemos
Un
licencia,
permiso.
patente. Sí, licencia, patente, copyrights. Y tenemos el trademarks, que es todo este tema que está relacionado con el branding, con la marca, con el brand. Toda la música que escuchamos, todo el diseño, el diseño gráfico, el producto, el servicio, ¿verdad? La melodía, que cuando tú escuchas Windows suena tururum, y tú lo asocias ya, que cuando tú ves McDonald's tú lo asocias, tienes una asociación, un goodwill ya creado. Todo este tema es un derecho de marcas y eso se llama trademark. Eso es lo más general. ¿Queda claro la información?
Sí.
Súper. Yo estoy pensando que vamos a estudiar una patente en clase. Estoy buscando encontrar una sencilla, que no sea como de 20 hojas y con unos términos bien mamones, porque no quiero intentar seguir mi metodología y hacerlo simple. Pero mis bebés, que eres tú y Crisia, me toca mirar, porque incluso este es un tema pesado para nosotros, que ya somos abogados, me toca hacer, o sea, por eso me interesa hablarlo. Hasta el momento ha sido claro. ¿Tienes dudas? ¿No? Súper. Ahora sí, podemos seguir discutiendo el tema del artículo. ¿Qué entendiste? Or what is your opinion about this article? What is your appreciation or the first view that you can tell me, I'm not agree with that, or maybe I'm agree, or this is really interesting. What was the part that you can tell me about this article?
Well, in first information, about the copyrights, that everyone that is an artist and make an artistic work have or is a right to have credits, or in this case copyright of their work. But there is something that caught my attention. For example, if I am working in some company and I make an artistic work inside of this company, or while I'm working in this company, in my work, in my job, this artistic work that I did, the design right or the copyright won't be for me, won't be for, will be for my employment, for my boss. And I don't know, I think because if you don't have a contract where say that if you made it you will have the copyright, you can have the copyright because the copyright will be for the boss. So I think, in my opinion, that if you make something in the work, you made it with your hands, with your with your ideas. So the copyright must be for you, but if it is not in the contract, you can do anything, right? So this called my attention. And another that calls my attention is that I'm a sculptor. Um, I mean,
Nice.
if you want the design, right, of or of some artistic work, this artistic work has to be in some base. I mean, in a painting or building, some that you can touch. I mean, but if you do, I'm a sculptor. Um, Obviously you make with your hands, and if you do furnitures, but you make furnitures in maze, I mean many of them, uh, you won't have the design, right, because it's to produce many of them. But if you just do you if you just do one of these furniture and in the future will be famous, you will have the copyright. I don't know if you get it.
Yes, I get it.
This will call my attention.
Yeah, but imagine that you, for example, you are the owner of Pixar, right? And what you can do with all the artists that create all these? That is my question, because imagine that you work with designers and all this, and you are give them the credit in the movie. You tell like graphic design, Daisy, music, blah 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 blah. But how do you think that will work these moral rights? Because that is other topic important, right? The moral rights. That is like, you know that one song belongs to Shakira because you listen the voice. It's like in the clouds. It's like in a forever. You will know that that is like call it like in like unalienable, como inalienable. Por siempre le va a pertenecer a Shakira, ¿verdad? Como obviamente sí le trajo mucha plata al disco, pero la asociación mental, el recuerdo de quién lo canta, etcétera, todo este tema es de Shakira. ¿Cómo hacemos para respetar esos derechos cuando es un trabajo conjunto para una compañía? Ese es el problema. ¿Sí ves? Es
But
como
in the
algo-
article I read that you can like sell your credits, your moral rights, and you
Yeah.
can give up this credit. So I don't know if the example of Shakira can sell the credit of their son,
Yeah.
and the son will belong for the company.
Yeah, because works like that from the money, because then we have like the producers, the investors, everything that can help to grow up your career. But these are really complex situations. Because we are not an artist, but then you are development the concept and do all the creative work about it, right? And that takes time. You see? So I am glad that you are understanding everything, that you have like everything clear, even when you are not a lawyer yet. And every question that you have, don't doubt in text me or drop me a message in WhatsApp and I will help you that. Before you go, I will please ask you that you feel the survey that now is on.
I'm going. I did it.
Okay. And I will see you the next week. Thank you so much for your time. Hello, Gabriela. How are you?
Hi, Danny. How are you?
I am fine. How was your day at work?
Everything okay. So
I am tired.
finally, it's Friday.
Oh, yeah, you will rest all this weekend.
Yesterday, one friend told me about a little exam, something like that.
Uh-huh. Yes. Haha.
So,
Yes. Suffer.
so about I talk in class and my
Mhm.
connection off because I am not in my home and in my grandma's home. In the internet, it's so bad.
No worries. We will figure out the way to do the test or then you can recover it. But no worry. For me, it's not important the notes. For me, it's important that you can understand everything. Okay.
Yeah, and I like this theme about intellectual property. It's
Yes.
interesting.
Yes. Do you have time to show the video of the lesson of yesterday or for study the PowerPoint presentation?
I read the article,
Yeah.
watch the video, and read very quickly the slides.
Okay, perfect. Do you understand what is copyright?
Yes. Um, copyright is any work visual, but visual in a surface, but visual in a surface.
Yeah. Can be, yes.
Is it also like that is protect about other person is the try to copy this work.
Like the best way that we can use it, because I know that you didn't stay in the lesson of yesterday, so I will explain you like really fast. The best way that we can understand it is like all this creative world that can belongs to literature, writing, painting, or every activity from the human creativity that can be sold. And the copyrights protect the credits of these kind of products. Okay. Then we have the trademarks that it's related with the branding, with all the brands, like all the designs, all the music, the melody, the publicity, all the marketing. For example, McDonald's. You know that McDonald's is this that is design that belongs to the
That's logo.
branding. Yeah, that is branding. That is trademarks. El derecho de marcas. Then we have the patents. We use the patents for all these new inventions that can have an application like in the industrial work, that I can sell a process, that I can sell how to do the iPhone from US and do it in China. This process this process has a patent, right? It has a patent and you can buy it and sell it and you can play with it. Okay? So that is really important. In the most like the general opinion, that is IP law. It's like how I can make something that exists like in the space, like the ideas, like all these creations, all this handmade stuff, you can give them a protection and a price also. Let me know what was your first impression from the video that you saw it, like from this professor from London.
My first impression. Maybe when he talked about the experience, because it's that difference. He said about the difference between a person who worked in 20 years. He said a person who talked in 20 years. He talked about two moments right now, or two situations, or something like that. The first, he experienced a person who works in that 20 years versus the person who starts to insert in that in intellectual property. For example, he starts give conference to teach a people who wants to know more that intellectual property. So the most is I would like is the experience that he took.
Okay. And this field of law is interesting for you. Do you like this commercial?
Sorry, I is interrupted.
Okay. Do you like this field of the law, like the commercial law? It's interesting for you?
Uh, I like listening notes, but it's interesting, but I don't like too much. I don't know why. But when I read, for me, is so interesting. But I don't like too much to imagine to work like that. Because I would like to, because everything in the intellectual property is about imagination. It's como que your brain protect your ideas. No, is because actually it's a lot of copies of different products. So I think is this como que ¿cómo se dice? Rama
This field, this area.
This area is for protect the ideas of the people. So I would like to match,
Okay.
but I can imagine to work on something like that.
Okay, perfect. And what about the video? What part did you find like really interesting in the video? In the article that I sent to you.
I had the article. I like all the article, but more like is a copyright. The first, okay, so talk about copyright, design right, moral rights. I have ideas to the article I would like the most. But I would like the part when, for example, copyright talk about a idea. It's um, any idea to stay. It is approved that the idea exists. For example, for example, makeup. Said in the article don't have a copyright. Don't have a copyright. So I would like to match make a guy I mentioned to you in the first class. So I would like in what moment, for example, it's a artistic makeup. So I would like in the future they have a protection because it's many people to do amazing.
Work.
So it is painters to do her her painting in a paper. It is people to do her in a skin. No, so I will in the future these can protects.
Okay, protection. That this kind of field has protection. Is the correct way to say it. And Gabriela, what is your knowledge about how this field works in Peru?
Sorry?
How is the knowledge, or what is your knowledge about how this field works in Peru?
Minor. Here in Peru, it is a estatal identity in the copy who protects who protects a copyright or everything.
How is the name?
In the copy.
Okay.
Yeah, in the copy is the name that I don't know how to say that. Entidad.
Is the office or is the name?
Is the office to here in Peru official for like that.
Okay. That oversees, como vigila.
Yes.
Oversees these relationships. Perfect. Yes. Do you think that Peru is advanced enough? Like in which level? Is advanced or maybe not too much?
Not too much because here in Peru it's in many copy of the original brands.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know when you stay here, you see, for example, you know the brand Nike. So here in Peru, it's como que Nike have a one check, no? Here in Peru, is double check. So it's also if you see in the general, you see it's equal. It's so similar, but if you see
on detail.
and detail.
Yeah,
You know, but here in Peru, a copy is
yeah.
when
But it's also a trouble because for
yeah,
Nike, that is a huge company, they don't care a lot the one guy that produced um, the same sandals or the tennis, the
say
same
uh,
product
yes,
because they didn't have like enough money for sue them, don't have any sense that one huge company go against them. It's like a wasting time.
yes. Apart from that, when you go to you go to any mall or something like that, or this is, for example, this is original. eh, um, this is original. The people say it, the seller said in that way. So so I don't like too much because for example a Peruvian creators make an effort to do a good job and teach people to copy his or her ideas.
Yeah, that happens not just in Peru, happen in all Latin America. So no worries at all.
As
No
I say,
worries.
many people say Latin American people is so creative, but it's not okay to do. They do that.
Yeah, I know that is crazy because then how you will defend this kind of things from the people that want to use it? You cannot defend your products because they are copying all your work and your branding. That happens too much in Colombia. It's like almost identity. Like it's almost the same product.
Yes,
You cannot make a
for
difference.
so,
I don't know in Peru, but in Colombia they have like double A or triple A. That
yeah,
means how much effort they put it in doing similar.
but that sounds it's equal. But it's not the same because the letters are different, but the song is so similar.
Yeah, everything is so similar, and I saw it like in every product, in jackets, in shoes, and everything. But that belongs to copyright. Do you have a lot of information of this field in your career? Like when you studied, do you
Uh,
saw this topic?
yes, I think I read the name of this is a decision for a seats. It's a well, I think it's Colombian a Colombian law. I'm not sure like that, but I remember that.
Colombian what decision? I
Yeah,
can understand what you want to say with Colombian law.
I think Spanish is yeah, yes, a decision for a seats is es como por la Asociación Colombiana de Propiedad Intelectual. So here in Peru, well, for me, I study with that.
Okay, that is really useful. Okay, Gabriela, thank you so much for your time. Before you leave, I will please ask you that you fill the survey.
Yes, when I enter, always appear that.
Okay, thank you so much, and please
Here
check
in Peru,
check the video.
for me, I study with that.
I want that you please check the video,
Okay,
and then I will see you next week. We will
okay.
continue working on this topic
Thank
just
you.
for a little bit more.
Bye.
Thanks to you. Bye bye. Enjoy your weekend and rest.
Yes.
Okay. Francela, can you please give me a second? I am coming back in 2 minutes. I need to go to the bathroom. I'm coming. Hola, hola, hola. Corrí, respiré. ¿Cómo estás? How are you? How is everything going? Hello? Are you here? I can't listen. Nope, nothing. Again, you need to connect your phone. Hello? Hello?
Ahora sí.
How are you?
Fine. How are you?
I am fine. Thank you so much for asking. So I know that yesterday you didn't stay with us because I guess that you have something to do. No worries at all. But hopefully you can make time on your schedules for see the video or see the lesson that is recorded on YouTube. And if not, maybe read the PowerPoint presentation and have an idea about how this works. Maybe do you have time to do it or you will do it in this weekend?
I would do it tonight.
Okay. So one time that you see that, you will start to see some differences between some basic vocabulary that is involved with this IP law, that is intellectual property law. This is a huge topic that, of course, by the time that we get in this workshop, we don't have time for fill it out completely, but just to have a basis. So it's really important that you make time for that. Do you have time for read the article and see the video from London?
What I did, I saw the video and I was searching for information here in Costa Rica, but I didn't read the article.
Perfect. The article talks, and most of them is like how, if you are an artist, how you will respect or how maybe the company will respect the copyrights, right? The copyrights that belongs to you. Do you think that it's so noisy? Because they are listening music. It's noisy?
A little bit.
But you can listen me
Oh,
good?
it's fine. I can hear you, yes.
Yeah, sure, not sure, because I can put the volume on. I'm
Oh,
coming.
it's fine.
Because I don't want that interrupted like this. Jamming.
It's fine.
Hello. Yes. Sounds better, right? Yes. For me, it works because then I start to pay attention to that. I need not like to be focused. Okay. So basically, in that article, they explain like how this copyright world works for artists, and it's like a really basic. It was like just one page. When you have time, you will see it. So for now, we will work with the information that you maybe check in Costa Rica and also the um, the video that you saw. What is your opinion? What was your first impression about it?
Okay. It was interesting because the professor was explaining the difference between the programs that the university is providing with. It was explaining that there is a certificate that is for basic or for people who are under trainee. Um, and it was making a difference between it and the other one, the MAC, which states that it takes about 1 year, okay, and that it would be explaining to the students in detail how much or how important is the IP. Then it make me okay. There were a few things that were making me feel interested in the course. One of those was that the guy was speaking and explaining everything in a natural way. He didn't look like stressful or to be worried about it. He also was explaining that he got the first stage, and now that he is in the second stage, which is for people with more than 20 years of experience. He was explaining the program, and he made me feel confident, even if I know that it's an expensive program, because I convert the amount of the study in colones, which is our coin here in Costa Rica, and based in the currency, it's really expensive. It's about 22 million of colones, so that's a lot of money. But he
Yeah.
was explaining that if you take the program, you would be able to recover the money that you're investing in a studying, because you would also be able to work with or to have a relation with people from different countries.
Yeah,
So
because it's like the daily work that he do. Was also interesting for me. But I want that you listen like in a natural space. How are the lawyers that works with this field of law that for me is like not common? I maybe didn't know someone that is focused on this information right now or in this kind of law. So okay, how do you think that is this copyright or this this intellectual property law working in your country, Costa Rica? Like with your knowledge and your studies, and maybe you saw this at the university. So let me see how it's working in that.
how is it working, like in the government, or why is it important?
Yeah, whatever that you want to tell me about how is this field in Costa Rica.
Okay, what I was focused on is what are the trade secrets that can be protected here in Costa Rica. So it was explaining that according to the commercial value of your invention or your art or the product that you're designing, it is it's providing you with like an option to protect it under the copyright. It was also telling or explaining that the information must be secret. So basically, it's not easily to be accessible or to somebody else to know it, because that's your invention. And also that the information must be under control, taking several steps to make it to get protected. Now, I was also reading about the convention establishing the World Intellectual Property Organization. We call it here WIPO. And I was also checking how to protect how our government offices, because what we have here is a Costa Rican trademark and patent office. We call it inside of the Registro de la Propiedad Industrial. So it was providing with some steps about how to include like a brand on it. And it was concerning me because there were a few aspects in where you should hire a lawyer, but there were some others. For example, if you're composing poetry, you can do it, you can make the register on your own. So it is providing you with the steps. If you cannot afford an attorney, it is providing you with all of the steps and all the information about how to do it by your own. But here happened one thing, because this is another thing that I was thinking while I was checking the video and while I was doing research. We have like a typical food here. The name of it is chifrijo. It's like a recipe that we have here. So the guy who said I invented the chifrijo, he attempted to protect the intellectual property of the recipe, but then he was trying to how can I say demandar? He was trying to sue people who were selling that, just to sue people who were selling the recipe that he invented. That, and then they discovered that he was not the one who invented, but he was the first Costa Rican intending to protect it. At the end of it, he was unable to prove that he was like the one who invented. He was unable to sue or to continue suing people here because of it. So it makes me think, even if there are a few things that you can perform on your own, and while you're reading step by step what you should be filing, I would not feel confident if I need to register something and I'm not paying an attorney who can represent me, who can have like a responsibility for the service that I'm requesting or paying him or her to provide me with. So that's the other thing. When you as an artist should register something, you should, here you have, as I was telling you, have like the opportunity to do it on your own or to hire somebody. I would definitely go by hiring somebody who do it and to represent me,
Okay.
thinking in how it could be done. Now, there is another thing, because I think it is including copyright. I used to work for a company, for a cable company, an internet company in the United States. And there were, when you're paying for internet and you're downloading music or videos online without paying for them, they call it, with a system that they call BitTorrent. BitTorrent, uTorrent. And it was like when you were, it took me back to when I was using, I think the name of the program was Ares, about 8 or 10 years ago, that I used to
I use
download
it.
music. Yes. So when you're paying for that cable company and internet company for your service, and you start downloading things without paying the artist for the rights, for the copyright, the system was showing us like a copyright alert. So the company was like protecting or taking care of the it's not like an interest of the rights of the copyright owner. So you receive like it is copyright alert. So basically what the system was sending the customers was like a digital alert stating that if they continue with that, then the copyright owner has like the right to subpoena. This is what they said. So there was like a huge problem in the United States when you're doing that, when you're downloading music. And this is not something that we do here in Costa Rica. This is where in a few things, in a few matters, we're not like prepared like this one for the copyright alert. This is not something that we do here. If I, for example, if I invent a book and I have the rights and I have it registered and somebody is making copies of it, we know a friend who invented a method to make people, well, to learn our children, to explain our children how to learn to read. And there was also a guy here making copies of the books that the lady invented, and she like hired an attorney. And since this is not something that is common here, her process is been she has been waiting uh, for a subpoena during more than 2 years. And she was explaining my interest and my property, my intellectual property is being affected because they are making copies of the book that I invented. So in every single matter, it depends on who you hire, who is representing you, how the process is going to move. So this is what I think and what I
Okay.
I'm mixing a lot of things because even if I didn't read the article that you sent, when I saw this is related to copyright, it threw me back to the place in where I read or I remember something about the copyright alert and everything.
Yeah, no worries at all. That is also so important for us, for me. Like, I know that you're like having a lot of stuff to do, or you have your reasons for didn't stay yesterday. But the idea is that you can connect it in your mind with this topic that you are related with and that you have knowledge about it. So no worries. Hopefully you can like find a little bit of time for this weekend, maybe just for read the PowerPoint presentation. That will be easier and faster. And then we will continue talking about patents the next week and making like a little discussion. We do it yesterday, not a discussion, just like kind of groupal conversation, like a group, and discuss a little bit. And I think this, I think that. I want like to continue in like following that kind of methodology because for me it's important that you know each other. And before you go, our time is done right now. Before you go, I will please ask you that you feel this will be, and I will see you the next week. Please
Thank you.
enjoy
Did you
your
receive it?
weekend. Let me see. Yes, I guess that I get it. Yes, I get it. Thank you so much, and I will see you the next week.
See you. Goodbye.
Okay, goodbye, good night. Laura, how are you?
Hey, how are you? A little bit
I am.
tired. Again,
Yes.
this time I had a lot of things to do, so kind of have an excuse, not like the other day. But
Yeah.
fine, yeah, I was trying to get all this information before it was my turn, so I hope that I that I have a nice.
Okay. Okay. So, do you have time to? I cannot remember if you maybe I can't remember. Do you stay? Did you just stay yesterday in our lesson?
No, I didn't.
No.
I didn't make
Okay.
it. But I read the slides and I read the article and I watched the video. So I
Perfect.
suddenly had to work today. I don't know if you know. I don't work. I don't have like a job right now. But the arbitration that I had just like is on again. So I had to, and I was like this, and I had a
Yeah.
meeting after that. So I was like a little bit hectic with all of that.
No, no worries at all. When that happens, no worry. Just excludes me, and then you will find time for do it without
Thank you.
pressure. No
Oh,
worries
yeah,
at
I
all.
like the subject, the matter that you were treating yesterday.
Yeah.
So I would
But
have liked to
this
be
is
there.
really hard because
Yeah.
yesterday is like it's a kind of difficult topic when you are not related with. But yesterday we cannot remember. No, we were six. Sorry, we were six.
Oh,
But you are like so similar to one Peruvian girl. Like
yeah.
yes, like for me, like if I'm not having a conversation and I
Uh-huh.
don't have the name, for me it's quite confusing. So I'm not sure if you were yesterday or if you are. I cannot remember if you it's like maybe she was, maybe no. Okay. So now that I'm so completely secure that you
Yeah.
stay with us yesterday, I want to know if was clear for you everything, or maybe you have some questions and I can answer it now.
Oh, yeah. I just got to see the slides, and I think I would have to maybe listen to the whole class or read a little bit more about it in order to have something like specific to ask because it's a very wide subject, right?
Yeah.
And you may think that you're getting it, but then it gets a little bit confusing. Just now I was searching for differences between copyright and design rights. I know
Yeah.
that there's not supposed to be like a tangible difference like per se, but you have to be able to distinguish it in order to talk about it. So I was like a little bit confused in that matter, but I think that if we start to talk about it and I listen to the class and everything, I will have it a little more clear and I will be a little more sure of what I want to ask you. I just love this theme, but I don't know much about it. I had an incident last year that maybe I will tell you about. No, I don't know if now, but in some moment.
Okay, something important that I can that I didn't tell you is like depends of the country. Sometimes we have some community matters like the Andean community, and we have some aspects that we share. But the most of times that is completely independent, depending of the country. All these design works, depending how you want to say it, can be connected with copyright, but can also be connected with these moral rights in some topic, like one movie or one, I don't know, one novel. Depends.
Okay.
But the thing important here is like maybe make the difference between copyright, that is all these author matters, like about the creation, about the creative stuff. Then all this topic about the patents, that is really related with this industrial matter and how we can produce the same product
Okay.
million times with the same characteristics, and the right to do it, like the conclusion of the patent will be the license. You buy the license for do this or do that, right? That is in a general, really general aspect what IP law means. Then we have other aspect that is like the moral rights and how I know that even Sony is producing all the songs from some singer. Then the singer will never lose these moral rights because never die, you know? It's like we can call it in Spanish, todo este tema de derechos, como lo viste en el artículo, inalienables, imprescriptibles, unaliables, right? You cannot lose them, even when someone taking advantage, like in money way, or they're taking a monetary advantage from your work, that belongs and will be always belongs to you, but that is connected with copyright also. It's just other bracket of copyright, but belongs there.
Okay, but about, sorry, no, go on. No, I just wanted to know about moral rights. I read it in the article that it was it's personal and it cannot be assigned. And I was a little bit confused with that matter because I don't know if this means like you can inherit your moral rights to your son, or I don't know, your nephew or whoever.
No, you can
gets
also
to have.
you can give them like, we will imagine that I am Shakira, right?
Okay.
I'm having my kids. I'm having my kids. Of course that when I die, all my rights, like all the copyright stuff will belong to them, but not in the way that we think about it. It's like they will have all the benefits, like the economical benefits about
The
all the
royalties.
products. Yes, but about all the products that I publish, that I share about my songs. They will have the money. But even when they are my kids or my nephews or whatever, they will never become Shakira. I will die, and I will be always remembered that like and associate with one product or one service that I give. That is moral rights. I cannot sell. I can sell them like a product because that is so connected with trademarks. That is other thing that I didn't explain to you like 5 seconds ago. Trademarks is all the branding, all the marketing, the publicity, the music, the melody, the design that belongs to a company or factory or whoever that wants to sell a product. We know that, I'll give me an example. Do you know this a singer from Colombia that now is married with Eva Luna, Camilo? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
You know that they do something like with their hands that it's like this.
Oh, I don't know. I
Que es
didn't
como
see it.
la tribu, que ellos cantan y dicen, ay, sí, la tribu, no sé qué, son como una manera de identificarlo. Eso es un tema de marketing, eso es una marca, es un branding, right? That, yeah. Other example that I can give you, the design of Star Wars, right? If I tell you Star Wars, you have, automatically, you have an image in your face, in your mind. That happens with McDonald's. That happened with McDonald's also. That is branding, and that is like fillet that belongs to the trademarks law that is inside of intellectual property, right?
Yeah.
Todo este derecho de marcas, el branding. Entonces, así Shakira sea una marca, también va a ser recordada y va a ser reconocida por siempre como la cantante de, yo qué sé, de Waka Waka, va a ser asociada, ¿verdad? Y por más de que yo todos mis derechos económicos se los ceda a otra persona, ellos nunca van a ser Shakira. No hay manera de que ellos sean conectados con el producto o servicio que ya se prestó, ¿entiendes? Eso es como la solución a esa inquietud que tienes.
Okay. Yeah, I was a little bit confused. I thought because of the legislation maybe, but then I said, no, this cannot be like I'm understanding it. So I kind of needed that. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. And for the part of the video that you saw, like this
Yeah.
professor, I want that you realize with this video how are they in the real life, how like an intellectual property lawyer works on it, even like in a fast first scene, that you can understand how this world is moving, how it's working. We can see a lot of these conferences that takes 1 hour and a half. But I find this like a couple of minutes that I explain to you, like how from his experience he is connected with
Yeah.
business people from all over the world or investors that want to
Yeah.
know about this topic and that need him for do their job, right?
Yes, I know.
So that is important. I do that for giving you a perspective. So now that you understand and you have a context about what we said yesterday that I explained it, that now that you are ready for it, let me know what was your first impression about that video and what was your opinion, what is your opinion right now about the article that I sent.
Okay. With the things you send us for us to watch and stuff, I'm always fascinated about it. And I was with this university that is Queen Mary of London. I think, I don't know if that's the correct name, but I think that they really put so much care into it, into the education of the people that are going there. And the thing that I liked about it is that they look for a balance in the courses that they make. Like they give you theory, they give you the academic stuff, and they put it there for you to learn it, but they also take care of the practitioners. They also tell you or try to teach you how the day-to-day life of a patent lawyer is. So that for me, it's amazing, because you know how it is, like when you are in college or you're studying law or whatever, you have like this idea, you read a lot, you have the academic part all well covered, but then you at least I went to the world and I was like, oh my God, I don't know anything, and I didn't know the day-to-day of a lawyer. So they make a balance there, and I think that it's amazing. I think, wow, the people that study there are so lucky. And even if you're not a lawyer, if you have maybe he said it, if you're an entrepreneur that wants to have it a little more clear, even if you're not a lawyer, you get to have such a knowledge of things. And I think that what they do there, it's amazing. I hope that the education here in Latin America gets like a little bit more like it.
Yeah. How is like what is your opinion about this field in artists world?
About the video, you mean, or the article?
No, about the article.
Okay, yeah, I was a little bit, that was a little bit weird for me, because when I read the part about Adamant, he's a musician. I just found out that he's a musician, and that they are protecting the makeup of his face. That I looked for it in Google too. I am very curious, so if I don't know something, I always Google it. So I searched for it, and it's like a white stripe in your nose, in his nose, and that it's being protected as a copyright. And I was a little, I need to know why, or how did they make that decision, because it's weird for me. You know, they say in the article that in regarding copyright, they don't have to have artistic quality to protect it unless it's a sculpture. But in this case, I don't understand how they are protecting just the white stripe. I'm sorry, maybe I'm not being appreciative or whatever, but I just don't get it. And yeah, that was the part that left me like, okay. And let's see, I took some notes. Maybe I find something here that caught my attention too. Um, yeah, no, that was like the biggest thing that stuck. And yeah, about the furniture and the hand tile stuff. I don't know how, I don't remember the whole word. I understood it, but the makeup part I was a little bit confused. And about the plants, that wasn't on the article, that was on the slides that you took yesterday. I need to hear that class. That shocked
Yeah.
me too. Not because I don't agree, but because I didn't know that. So it's like a great subject, in my opinion.
Yeah, that is also important. Now, Crisia, can you please, a moment, please? That is something so important that we saw yesterday because that is so connected with all the sovereignty, with all like the rights, and you will see if you have the opportunity to listen
Yeah.
to me. When you are going to a country, you need to fill a form saying that you don't have any seats and whatever because they need to protect their sovereignty. Like todo este tema de seguridad alimentaria está súper conectado con esta materia en específico. Y hasta ahorita se están discutiendo como en materia de botánica y el tema de propiedad intelectual de las semillas. Está conectadísimo con esta área y yo no lo sabía. Para mí fue como, ¿qué? Funciona mucho. Ayer les explicaba, hay una película como súper famosa, viejísima, que se llama Savages. Y ellos, bueno, es como toda una historia de narcos y todo este bollo, pero ahí cuentan muy bien cómo se maneja cierta calidad en cierto tipo de semillas para la marihuana, las plantaciones de marihuana. Entonces, yo lo hablo ayer en la clase, es como un buen ejemplo para comprender cómo esto se puede regular y cómo pueden estar abogados relacionados con este tipo de materia cuando es un tema científico también. Y si lo conectamos con lo que vimos en el video, te vas a dar cuenta que es del área como de la medicina, de los científicos, de los químicos, ellos estudian este tipo de temas que lo necesitan para su desarrollo profesional. Entonces, por ahora de tarea, ya viste que ayer hicimos un quiz, así que no te preocupes que por las notas no te afanes. Ayer hicimos, no estaba planeado, yo que iba a saber que llegaron solo 6, pero vamos a encontrar la manera de reponerlo, no te preocupes, no, a mí las notas me importa es que aprendan y que me siento re viejita, pero es la idea. Entonces yo estoy aquí para que se queden con eso. Dejando eso de lado, entonces te voy a encargar que veas el video y que te pongas como al día para que la otra semana podamos hacer un ejercicio de conversación grupal también, trabajando el tema de la patente. Quiero que veamos una patente, estoy intentando encontrar una sencilla, siempre las patentes son como de 25 páginas, no, las voy a matar por eso. Entonces estoy en esa búsqueda y la idea es hacer un repaso colectivo, pero también una conversación colectiva. Ya, ¿ok? Entonces en eso quedamos. Muchísimas gracias por tu tiempo y te voy a pedir por favor que tienes la encuesta antes de que te vayas.
Sí, ya me estaba olvidando.
Y listo. We are done. So I hope that you have a nice weekend and I will see you soon.
Thank you.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks to you. Crisia, hello. How are you? Sorry that I take 5 minutes more. How are you?
Fine.
Okay, so I'm happy for that. So yesterday you were in the lesson or no?
Sorry?
Yesterday you were in the lesson?
What less?
Tell me.
¿El qué? The article or in the video?
No. You were yesterday with me on lesson? I can't remember because then you were for a while. I can't remember. You were there like until the end?
Yes.
Yes, but yes. I remember that I explained you a little bit. Yes, before. Oh, yes. Sorry, we had yesterday 2 speaking calls. Okay. So did you saw the video that I sent it? Okay, do you understand it? Okay, what do you understand?
Primero, ¿verdad que esa era una universidad de la que estaba hablando. I'm not sure. I think. And I understand that the university and the students know that different learn of the different areas, but in the que no sé cómo. Pero entendimos menos de que como que la universidad trataba de que los estudiantes de diferentes áreas hiciera como proyectos, pero digo yo, ¿verdad? Creo yo, no sé, no estoy segura. Y que esos proyectos se tenían que patentar, ya que ellos como que se estaban, no sé, como estudiando el día a día o trabajando, por decirlo así, el día a día, pero no lo entendí muy bien que digamos. Traté, le puse ahí, pero...
Ok. Ellos básicamente lo que están haciendo es una explicación en video de lo que incluye un programa en una universidad, haz de cuenta un curso. A mí porque me interesa que ustedes lo vean y te voy a dar un tip súper importante para cuando tengas estos videos así incomprensibles, y es que le coloques el captions, le coloques como las letricas abajo, así sea en inglés, porque el irlo leyendo te va a dar una facilidad de comprensión, porque estás utilizando dos, la comprensión auditiva y la lectora. Así que, bueno, básicamente él habla como de cómo se ve este curso desde esa universidad, desde el ámbito teórico y desde el ámbito práctico, y cómo básicamente él se convirtió rápidamente, lo dice, como en un abogado de propiedad intelectual, y como tiene clientes de todo el mundo, todos los días, lo que quería era que tuvieran la perspectiva de alguien que sí se dedica a eso, así fuese muy rápido, ¿ok? So I know that that part can be difficult or quite difficult for you. I understand it. But I want to know, Christian, do you have time for read the article? Okay, what do you understand? What is your opinion about it? Do you understand it?
Tengo una pregunta sobre eso, pero
Okay.
es más una pregunta o sea, cuando un artista, digamos, pintor, hace una pintura, ¿cómo lo patenta? O sea, no sé si decía en el artículo, pero no lo entendí quizás muy bien. Si
No worries. No worries. Each country have a way to do it. Depending, for example, in Colombia, they manage like the copyright by a certificate. For example, if I paint this, I will give you and I will sell you the rights with a certificate that I say, Gali, there's a painter, whatever, and I am selling you all the rights from this masterpiece, como de esta obra maestra, ¿cierto? Yo con un certificado te voy a vender esos derechos de autor, o sea, autoría, ¿sí? Es como un certificado de autenticidad. Pero cada país tiene, eso lo hace en español, que va a ser mucho más sencillo. Cada país tiene, o lo quieres en inglés, así practicamos. No, I will try to sell it in English. So every country have like a way to create the register of some masterpieces. This is the example of the paint, but what happened with a book, when the editorial sell it, you will have, like in the first page, like copyright, that is like all the rights reserved, todos los derechos reservados. Yo sé que tú has visto eso. That means that when someone are texting something about my book or about me or about something that I said before, with my same words, they will need to put in the document in one way that give me the credit because I do it, right? So that is so important. With musicians, they have a special office for register that, but also the records, como Sony or, o sea, es como la casa disquera se va a reservar los derechos, ¿verdad? Porque ellos son quienes los están produciendo y ellos se encargan de pagarle al cantante y de hacer como esa recolección. que ahora es mucho más compleja porque tenemos Spotify. Y en este artículo hay algo muy importante que habla acerca de cómo se maneja cuando el empleador es el que tiene los derechos. Yo te voy a poner un ejemplo de Pixar o de Star Wars o lo que sea. Ellos tienen muchos actores, ¿verdad? Y ellos dan el crédito. ¿Te has dado cuenta cuando comienza una película que dice Sutana, como no sé qué? Y al final dicen, cuando son muñecos animados, por ejemplo, películas animadas, they start to pull all these credits like in a list, like graphic design, music, melody, all these are credits. And this means they are connected with moral rights. Moral rights is something that is untouchable. You cannot touch it. You cannot have money for that. You know that Shakira is Shakira and she works as Shakira and she sings as Shakira. And even when she has money for that because she are winning, because it's her business, then even imagine that Shakira dies, right? His kids will have like all the money from the music that she do, right? For all the music that she created, that she did when she was alive. But then the kids don't becomes Shakira, right? Por más de que los niños sean los hijos, siempre van a ser los hijos de, no pueden ser Shakira. Esos son los derechos morales, el que nosotros entendamos que, que está conectado a un ente, haz de cuenta, una producción que es inmaterial, no la podemos tocar, le pertenece a ella, ese es su derecho moral, no prescribe, es inalienable, imprescriptible, para siempre va a ser esa canción de Shakira, por más de que los derechos económicos, el dinero obtenido, le pueda pertenecer a sus hijos cuando muera. Y así pasa con todos los artistas, ¿sí? O así le pueda pertenecer a la casa disquera, ¿sí? Ese es un tema muy amplio que la universidad lo va a saber, tal vez no tan a profundidad porque es un tema complejo, pero se le dedican unas clases en materia de derecho comercial. Pero lo que me interesa a ti más que lo entiendas, porque después va a ser un ejercicio de traducción, pero me interesa es que lo entiendas en español, ¿sí? Hay una oficina en todos los países que se va a encargar de registrar estas situaciones, ¿verdad? También a nivel internacional, también depende del área. Digamos, si es el área farmacéutica, van a existir unas oficinas que van a vigilar ese comportamiento, ¿verdad? Diferente, luego también pueden haber instituciones internacionales, etcétera. Pero siempre hay una manera legal de hacer respetar ese tipo de derechos, porque a eso es lo que se dedican los abogados en derecho comercial y en derecho de propiedad intelectual. ¿De acuerdo? También con obras, con editoriales, con lo que tú te quieras imaginar, películas, obras de teatro, etc. Entonces, ¿queda claro? ¿Todo? Okay, will be important that I will send you a video that they explain like basically all this information like in an easy English, like IP for dummies, and they do it so easy because I know that you need to put in the same level with all us that we are lawyers. That will take a little bit more of effort, but you will do it, okay? And no worries, and every time that you have a question, just drop me a message and I will answer you. And read again the article. Try to find all the words that you cannot understand. And also this weekend, I need that you continue working on the client client's care contract. Continue working slowly, but continue seeing all that information. And I will see you then next week. So I hope that you have a really nice weekend. And before you leave, I know you feel it. You feel this will be already, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So thank you so much, and I will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Karen, hello.
Hola.
How are you? What happened yesterday?
I don't know. Actually, I'm right now with my office computer.
Yeah.
Not with mine because mine it's I don't know the camera. It's I don't know how to burned, quemada. I
Yeah.
don't know
Oh,
what is
Dios
happening,
mío.
but yeah, the actually my camera seems like it is turned on, but everything is in blackout.
Oh, Dios, my
But
gosh.
I don't know what is it. Yeah.
Okay. I was like so surprised that you didn't stay. It was like so different because we were yesterday just six. I don't know what happened with all of you. Just was just six and lesson. I was like, what? You make an agree for don't comes to the lesson or what? So
I
okay.
don't know actually, but I was trying to get in with my technical problems, and I wrote to you to ask if there was some problems to join to me.
Yeah.
Yes, but because I remember that it's an obligation to have the or keep the camera on, so I finally joined with my the class, but I was with well first I was with that concern.
Okay. Okay, but the important thing is that you stay in the lesson at least at one part, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Do you
reached
have
to
time?
participate a little, but I reached. Yeah,
Yes, yes. But do you have time to read the article?
yeah, I read
Okay, but you were there.
and I watched the video.
Like because I know I checked your message after and it's
The
like I'm
video.
not so sure in what time you entered the class. So you was there like for all the explanation, right? You were there.
The explanation of the dynamic or the exercise yesterday.
Yeah. So you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Perfect.
I joined the class around 15 minutes later.
Okay. Yes, because I know that by the beginning I was like, why we are just here? What is happening?
Ah, okay, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
In my
So
case, it's because I was late because I was trying to repair my camera, but I didn't
no worries. So do you have time to saw the video, right? The
yeah.
video that comes like from this university. Let me was what was your first impression about it?
I some years ago I heard about Queen Mary University, and I know that is very its institution. That institution has prestige and it's recognized around the world. I know about that. And in the field of intellectual property law, I know about that reputation before. Yeah.
What about the things that he said? Like how is the structure in the course, how's the um, way to do it, and about the way that he talked about her own experience. What is your opinion about it?
Um, I noticed that the intellectual property law is intersectorial. So it has a part, um, practical part in in commercial and business fields, and other part in in theorics theory, so that it's come from the law, just the law. So I found that very important to point by the expert, because usually we think that law in general is um, close field. It's not fit by other other um, knowledge. So I found that very important to point by the expert.
Okay. And what about the article? What is your opinion about the article?
I think okay, in my opinion, if I were artist or if I create something, I would like to know about intellectual property and how to register that in my country and how to protect that internationally. Because sometimes I remember a case, I think in Mexico, that one company took indigenous designs from Mexico
Oh
and
yeah,
stamp that in clothes.
London. Yeah, I
I
guess
don't
that was
remember.
Europe. I remember it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember if was Sarah or uh, a trademark like that, but I remember that case because I actually think that it's in trial, maybe
Yeah.
because it was very recent. I think last year. Yeah, so it's very important. But in the case of indigenous rights or copyrights from indigenous knowledge, ancient knowledge, I think it's more protected than general copyrights, because there are an international treaty that protects indigenous knowledge from medical plants and designs and songs
Yes.
and identity. So I
I
think
guess
that
that,
it
sorry that I interrupted, just one part is wrong there with your speech, and it's like the ancestral work.
ancestral.
Ancestral.
Thank you.
Yes, that
Yeah.
then the other thing is good. Are perfect.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think
Okay, the
I get
ancestral work.
ancestral work. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that is a really important case because I saw it online and it's like that is really connected with this. Maybe we will discuss a little bit the next week. I need to plan the lesson.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's like also important to try to put that information in our reality and with something that called the attention of us. Because in my case, I just recently started to figure out how this can be valuable for me. Or it's like, oh, maybe if at my university, I maybe be connected more with these kind of aspects and topics and how this works, maybe my life be really different because sounds really interesting. It's one part of commercial, but sounds interesting for me. And maybe it's not a lot of lawyers in this field, so the competition is not so hard.
Yeah.
In my country, unless, right? But the thing that I can say about how is the process and etc. obviously depends on where you are, and we have like an international dispositions or regional that help us to understand how this process is working. But talking with the other classmates, it's like in Peru is completely different than in Bolivia. We have like different offices, and in Salvador also. So it's quite hard to give you like a specific step by step. But the thing that I can tell you is like for sure exists, especially like in the music standards, exists international companies that oversees these relationships between artists and the records. That also all these copyrights by books or by all these masterpieces that you can create like in literature, they use it by the editorial stuff. They put there the copyrights and rights. And then exist like other companies in each country. In my case, is like Psycho and Sinapro is like one specific that is working in these music producers in Colombia. But in Peru, they told me the name today, so you need to find what is in charge of. And did you read the part about how the employer get all the credits for the work that have been done for the employee?
Yeah,
What
that
is your
was
opinion?
very. I'm I think that there are both sides because, for example, in pandemic context, for example, the vaccine was created by many scientists from Pfizer, for example, and the credit or the product or final product was used and commercialized by Pfizer. So in that case, I think that this intellectual property is it's in the how they realize or no how they make the vaccine, how the steps and the um I don't know remember the I think I take notes here. It's research, science research. It's um, owned by Pfizer, but I think in that case, for example, it's used by Pfizer like general product to distribute around everything in the world. But when that happened, for example, in the case of Taylor Swift, that the producers stole
like
everything from her.
two or three times they are talking
Yeah,
me about Taylor Swift, and it's like where I am because I didn't have any idea about it.
yeah.
I didn't know
Actually,
it.
it's recording again every. Yeah, it's very bad because she owns its yeah, it's the music, but she lost everything about that happened. For example, musical notes, the do re mi fa sol. Everything about that she lost it, but the lyrics from the songs she keep. So she decided to copyrights. Yeah, it's very that he latest again with a little bit different melodies. So she reached to bring back this the her songs from she I think so she
That's
uses
hard.
I don't know the word. Yeah, actually, in an interview, she said that the most important thing that an artist have to keep closer it's a lawyer. In the creative process and in the commercial process of your result in that. So it's very interesting. But actually, I'm thinking that there are a lot intellectual property cases right now.
Okay, that is so important. I am taking notes. I don't know if you see that I am taking notes about which cases I should
Ah,
see for
yeah,
comment on the
actually,
lesson.
Chespirito too, because he lost his copyrights from his characters from Del Chavo. And I think Kiko stole that when I don't know how do you say caducidad or caducaron.
Where
Uh,
you can say
uh,
something like where it's like over.
he
You
okay
can say
when the
the
rights
rights
over
are
because
yes are over.
Okay, the
Also,
Chespirito.
you can also say like a UCT.
Okay, in that case, Chespirito had the obligation or duty to renew every year, or no, every 10 years, the copyrights right, well, copyrights in the register in Mexico. Yeah, but I think in the year he death or of
Yeah.
his death, the hereditaries or de los herederos. I don't know. I don't remember the word, but I remember
Yeah,
that we
from
saw
the
that in a class.
heritage.
Okay,
Yeah,
the
from the
heritage.
heritage. Yeah.
Yeah, forgot to renew that. So I'm almost um I don't know 100% um segura. I don't know. Well, I'm 100% sure that someone stole that copyright for in a meantime and negotiate to bring it back to them. So, but I think that 5 years ago or more, I don't remember, but I remember that case too.
Interesante, no sabía, porque lo que estoy diseñando, ya hemos terminado nuestra speaking call, lo que estoy diseñando es primero estudiar una patente, estoy intentando encontrar una patente corta para que la podamos revisar entre todos y de ahí sacar una conversación grupal. Pero también creo que sería muy bueno poder buscar uno de estos temas de farándula, algo boom, me interesa como poder encontrar un video y algo un poco más práctico y menos aburrido, donde tú también puedas conectar como este caso a temas de propiedad intelectual, ¿verdad? Quiero dedicarle una clase más a este tema y ya cerrar ese capítulo para poder seguir con lo que tenemos que ver. ¿Crees que es suficiente, fue suficientemente clara la clase de ayer o crees que necesitamos ahondar un poco en un tema o que te gustaría que viéramos la próxima clase?
Bueno, yo usualmente las clases las veo muy claras. A veces tal vez hay algo que no, porque yo lo que hago es que utilizo un diccionario de sinónimos y antónimos, entonces aprovecho, si usted nos da una palabra, yo busco cuáles son para tener como más vocabulario, por lo menos ir incorporando más. Entonces a veces tal vez algo no me queda como completamente claro como el uso de la palabra, pero cuando ya busco los sinónimos ya, entonces normalmente eso me queda como un ejercicio después de la clase. Pero en general, bueno, a mí me gustan mucho las clases y me parecen muy claras. En realidad no tendría algo de mejor. Es que creo que tal vez, no sé si es que en la clase tal vez, bueno, yo hablo por mí, no hablo por los demás compañeros. No sé, es que creo que somos como tímidos o no sé si le pasa lo mismo que a mí, que a veces me da un poco de, de pena hablar y demás, pero fuera de eso, no, o sea, las clases a mí me gustan mucho y están muy bien
Pues
preparadas.
se les va a ir, ¿ah? Se les va a ir la pena porque los va a poner a hablar.
Sí, con los ejercicios como el otro día, esos me parece que son como importantes porque aparte uno conoce cosas de los otros compañeros, de los otros países, ¿verdad? Y yo creo que como que le va quitando a uno el miedo y
La
también escuchar
timidez.
otros acentos, exacto.
Eso es lo que quiero. Y así vamos a seguir, al menos ya en esta fase, que ya entramos, ya vamos más de la mitad del curso, así que ya entramos a algún tema un poco más práctico. Okay, so we are done for tonight. We finished. You was my last one. You were my last one, sorry. Sometimes when I speak so fast, I have troubles with words because I don't think about it. And it's like, and it's like, then when I overthink about the recent sentence, it's like, oh, no, sorry. There are a mistake. Oh, there's some mistakes. I just figured out now in a second, but maybe it's because it's quite tiring. This speaking calls are 3 hours continuous. So maybe my brain is broken. So we are done for tonight. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, no, I will see you the next week. for our
Okay.
lessons, and I will try to find all these examples that you gave me tonight and see how I can connect it and relate it with your lesson, and especially how I can make it interesting, especially for the little girls that that I get in the lesson, because they never see this. I am giving them a lot of new information, so when they with you is like a resume, we are overseeing these topics, but with her, for her and for yes, for them are completely new. So I am like trying to make it how they can connect with his first year at law university life. Okay, so after that, thank you so much for your time, for your advice about how we will manage it for the next lesson and the ideas. And I will see you in soon. Enjoy your
Okay.
weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Rest. You too. Bye bye.
Bye.
Ciao.